Russell Lee Dietrich Jr. Park on, as you can tell, a windy Sunday afternoon, getting ready for this afternoon's game between the Jammers and the Adirondack Trailblazers. I'm Dave Shannon. Happy you're with us this afternoon on the Jammers Baseball Network, including WWCB Stream 2. What do we have coming up? Well, the Jamestown Jammers trying to build some momentum heading into the postseason. They're 32-15 on the season. They played 47. They have 2 more to go. This one here this afternoon, and then tomorrow night the Onondaga Flames will be here, and I assume they'll be staying over and then take us on in the first round of the playoffs. A one-and-done game coming up Tuesday night, 7:05 here at Russell Lee Dietrich Jr. Park. We have the $2 admission price in effect for the playoff game on Tuesday. Once again, Jammers Flames, $2 admission price. Make plans to attend that game coming up on Tuesday night. But we got to take care of business today, and that's the Adirondack Trailblazers. The Trailblazers coming into the game are 16 games back of the Jammers with a record of 16-31, although they've been playing very well of late. For example, last night the Trailblazers took on the Albany Dutchmen, the second-ranked team in the PGCBL East, and they defeated them by a score of 8-4. Not going to be an easy game despite their position in the standings coming into the game, and we'll talk with Hayden Carter about that. We'll also have an opportunity to get acquainted with Jamestown Jammer Chris Estrada. That coming up in our player profile. That's all headed your way next here on the Jamestown Jammers Baseball Network.
Penswood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Penswood.net Classifieds. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Penswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, or even a new pet? Penswood.net Classifieds has it. Penswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or trade locally.
We're here with Chris Estrada as he joins the Jammers this year. Young man out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Another one of the UTSA guys. Chris, first of all, you've been here. I've been watching you play. Pretty much fearless down at third base. I got to tip my cap to you. Solid at the plate. It's been a good start for you here. Mm-hmm. One of the things we always try to do is go back and talk about what's going on with you at UTSA, how this past season was.
It went pretty good. I spent my first 2 years in junior college, so this past year was my first year actually in Division I baseball.
Yeah. Big difference?
A slight difference.
Okay.
In the pitchers. Compared to junior college, and D1 is probably the breaking pitch. They have more command over it, and that's really the difference. And they could probably spot up a little bit better, but not too big of a jump. Year went pretty good until maybe like the last quarter. I probably fell into like a little slump. And,
were you getting tired at that point, or just?
I think it was just. I was missing pitches, and I think in my head I was just trying to fix something that probably wasn't broken.
You were thinking baseball instead of playing baseball.
I was probably thinking a little bit too much. So the end of the year, it didn't go the way I wanted it to. So, but now I'm trying to now I'm here, reset, just trying to readjust, and I think I'm trying to find my swing a little bit better, and I think
Yeah, you're getting there.
I got a pretty good feel of it now.
Yeah. Did you play third at UTSA as well?
Yeah, the whole season.
Yeah, it's you seem comfortable and very much at home there, and of course, as we move from field to field, it's always an adventure as to how those hops are going to come to you. But you've handled it really well. I got to tip my cap to you. You got a strong throw over to first too, which is a big part of being a successful third baseman. Heck, ran into a guy in Independent League, and he was trying out with the Tigers organization at third base, and they watched the speed that he threw over to first, and they said, "Have you ever pitched?" and they turned him into a pitcher then after they saw how fast he could throw to first base. Wow. And it worked out okay for a while, but no, that's such a big part of it. Talk about being here at Jamestown, and do you have specific goals set up for yourself?
As far as here?
Yes.
No, not really. I just wanted to, like I said earlier, I just wanted to come out here and just reset, not think about what happened at the, the end of the season. Yeah, the end of the past season. Trying to work on the things I need to work on here, and that's really. I don't really have any goals specifically.
That's fine. That's fine. You're coming to play, and that's what it is. You're playing baseball, and that's a good thing. Talk about your youth baseball, when you got started and, through high school.
I started playing when I was 6 years old, and ever since then I just wouldn't stop playing. Year round. My dad, putting me in select teams and stuff, and putting all that money out, and just so I could play. And high school, I think I made the varsity team when I was a sophomore, but I didn't play because that whole varsity team was all seniors. So I started my junior year, and then that year we made it all the way to the state championship, but we lost. So that was really the highlight of my high school career.
Yeah, I would think so. Texas, pretty good baseball state, so it's not easy to get to a state championship for sure.
I actually played shortstop when I was in high school. Yeah, and then I made the transition to third my freshman year of junior college.
Was that a decision that did your coach need you at third, or is that something that you wanted to try? Or
well, that year, when they were recruiting me, I was like, how about you try third? And so I moved over to third, and the first inter squad, the first ball that was hit to me, it was a line drive. It tailed about. I'm probably the most supportive people. My dad, he even asked some of the UTSA guys this whole year. He comes to the games at home, and he's got that camcorder, and he's been recording me ever since I was. And he's just now learned how to use Facebook and YouTube. So now he's got the videos.
Wood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple...
Coach of the Jamestown Jammers after another grueling BP throwing session. How's your arm holding up?
Oh, my arm's fine. I'm used to it. It's been about 2 weeks since I started throwing on the field, and
said like a true pitcher. Anyway, we're here to talk about first last night's game, which I thought was an important win at Geneva to take care of the Red Wings by a final of 6-3. Got off to a big start with a 2-run homer, added a couple the next inning, and there are signs that the team is getting back to what it was back there at the beginning of the season when we were on such a winning streak.
Yeah, there's definitely signs. We just got to be able to do it consistently day in and day out. We can't do it for 1 or 2 games at a time. When we were successful earlier in the year, we were doing it for stretches of 9 to 10 games. So that's what good teams do, and that's hopefully what we can do over the next couple games to end the regular season and going into the postseason all year. With Nolan, he was just throwing the ball. So when I made the first mound visit with him, he was just like, he was out of breath. And I was like, man, didn't you used to be a starter in college? He's like, yeah. But he wasn't really happy with the role he's in now. So I was like, all right, man, here's your chance to get back in that starter's role and finish a game. So after every inning, I was like, hey, man, you can finish this game if you want. Kept saying it after the 5th, 6th.
Game that was decided ahead of time you would split between he and Nick, right?
Retired, and this is how we live united.
We decided to volunteer with United Way at our community.
Volunteer. Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
And throw in all the stats you want. Look at them. Baseball is baseball, and things take place.
Yeah, that's just the beauty of baseball.
I don't know that we've changed that much, but
hit him twice, I believe, before this. So it's definitely hard, and you're cherishing those successful appearances. So he he said it himself that he hasn't really gone through that much struggle before in his pitching career. So I think that was good for him, just because it toughened him up, made him kind of reflect and see what he needed to do to change. It's a pretty good league that we're in right now. So he's had to make adjustments, and that's just a part of baseball. So like you said, he's in a really good place mentally, and hopefully he can continue that going forward.
Yeah, one of the things that we also tend to think about with a situation like Connor's is that, as you say, it certainly gets him, having that bump in the road. And there are times when the game seems easy. There are times from a fan standpoint that it looks easy. The fact of the matter is the repetitions that you do on a day-to-day basis and doing them the right way every time is not easy.
Definitely not. Baseball can make a man humble really, really quick. As soon as someone thinks they have it figured out, baseball just sends them right back on their butt. So, yeah, you just always got to keep working hard, never take anything for granted, whether it's on the offensive side, defensive, pitching. As soon as you think you have everything figured out, that's when baseball kind of bumps you on the head and sends you back toward reality. So hopefully Connor can keep moving forward today, throwing strikes, and hopefully he can keep building on this momentum that he's kind of carried the last couple weeks.
All right, and we won't talk about the lineup. That's Barone's bailiwick, so we'll stay away from that. And we want to thank you for your time, and good luck, Hayden.
All right, thanks, Dave.
All right, back with the start of today's game after this on the Jammers Baseball Network. And welcome back to Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, getting set for this afternoon's game against the Adirondack Trailblazers. Trailblazers line up like this. Leading off, second baseman number 19, Tyler Bruno. Batting second, the shortstop, number 13, Jordan Torrento. Hitting third, right fielder, number 23, Joe Simone. In the cleanup spot, center fielder, number 9, Riley Schaefer. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 16, Justin Smith. Hitting sixth, left fielder, number 7, Chuck Hooker. Batting seventh, the DH. That'll be number 14, Rob Zarowski. Batting eighth, it is the third baseman, number 4, Jake Van Bieber. And batting ninth and playing first base, number 8, Zach Schering. In the field for the Jamestown Jammers this afternoon, starting in the left, Christian Deaton in center field. It is Jimmy Standahar, John Conti in right. Down at third this afternoon, Nick Burnick at short, Alex O'Donnell, Ryan Markey at second, Ben Brookover down at first, Matt Cross behind the plate, catching Connor Ryan. Connor Ryan wants to, in the biggest way, rebound from that tough start that he had at Onondaga a couple weeks back, and he and I talk quite a bit when we're not in the game mode, and Connor is really excited about starting this afternoon's game. He said he's ready, he feels good. His last outing, and that was in relief, was a good one. And the first pitch to Tyler Bruno is a ball high, 1 ball, no strikes. Connor had a really good ERA before that start, and it ballooned up, sitting at 7.11 right now. He has a 2-1 record. This is 19th game, second start, 19 innings pitched, 15 runs all earned, 17 hits, 13 walks, and 16 strikeouts, though, just averaging 246. But leadoff man has a single down the third base line. Deaton's going to have to chase that into the corner. Bruno rounding second. He's on his way. Nope. I thought he was going to try to get the third, and good thing he didn't, because the throw came into OD about a third of the way down the left field line, turned and threw a strike to Nick Burnick, and they would have had Bruno had he tried to advance. But it's a leadoff double off the bat of Tyler Bruno, and Trailblazers have something going right off the bat. It'll bring up the shortstop. Jordan Torrento on the season is hitting .250 in his 36th game, 32nd start, 27 for 108 on the season, 20 runs scored. First pitch misses low outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Torrento also has 16 ribbies, and Torrento's OPS is at 795. 1-0 count to him. Checks the swing and fouls it over toward the Jammers' dugout. Count evens up at 1-1. Jammers last night with a big win at Geneva when they took on the Red Wings. The final there 6-3, and what a pitching performance by Nolan Hunt, as Hayden Carter and I outlined for you there in the pregame show. Came in relief of starter Ryan Boyer and finished the darn thing out. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and the count now 1-2 on Jordan Torrento. It's got to be a relief for Ryan there to get a swinging strike. Connor, although a very thoughtful young man, is, I don't think, overthinking the pitching. I think he just, there's a lot of adrenaline in him. And right now the count at 2-2 is that pitch missed. Tyler Bruno at second, leadoff double. Alex O'Donnell and he having a chat, as O'Donnell stays right behind him. The old deke him into thinking you're going to go in and try to take a throw from Ryan. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Nice pitch, Connor Ryan. First out of the inning, a strikeout swinging. Jordan Torrento brings up the right fielder, Joe Simone. Simone wears number 23, and Joe on the season, the leading hitter on the Trailblazers, a .326 average. His 39th game, 36 start, 42 for 129 at the plate, and he scored 34 runs, by far the leader in runs scored on the team. He also has 29 ribbies on the season as well. Lost one, shallow left field. That's going to fall in. And Tyler Bruno makes a move toward third, and he will get there. Christian Deaton eventually fielded that ball after it blooped into fair territory and bounced into foul. And a good alert base running by Bruno puts him now at third base. Runners at the corners, and one out for center fielder Riley Schaefer, right-handed hitter. Schaefer coming into the game is hitting .258, 32nd game, 25th start, 25 for 97 at the plate. He has scored 24 runs. Adirondack Trailblazers are dressed in black tops, something you don't want to be wearing on a hot day. This is not a really hot day. This one's popped up and playable in the infield. Ryan Markey drifts over near the foul line and catch, tagging at third and trimmed in white. White numbers on the front and on the back.
This is the news. This morning, we are saluting the 2.2 million women who have joined in the war effort. They now make up 37% of the workforce, changing their role.
Off DH number 17, Chris Conley. Batting second, the right fielder, number 6, John Conti. Hitting third, first baseman, number 30, Ben Brookover. In the cleanup spot today, it is center fielder, number 29, Jimmy Standahar. Skylar Valentine getting the day off. Hitting fifth, shortstop, number 1, Alex O'Donnell. Batting sixth, the guy that just had 2 of the putouts there in the top. It is number 13, Nick Burnick. Around the field for the Adirondack Trailblazers, Chuck Hooker in left, Riley Schaefer in center, Joe Simone in right, Jake Van Beaver down at third. It is Jordan Torrento at short, Tyler Bruno at second, Zach Schering is down at first, and behind the plate, it's Justin Smith catching Joe Hamrick. Hamrick on the season for the Adirondack Trailblazers, 1-1. This is 13th, an 8.37 ERA for Joe Hamrick. 23 2/3 pitched. He's given up 24 runs, 22 of those earned, 27 hits. He's walked 26 and struck out 22, a .284 opponent batting average against him. Chris Conley bunts one down the third base line. Van Bieber has to come in a long way, fields it, and decides to not throw. Chris Conley with a bunt single, of all things, to start the game. Didn't know he had that in his repertoire, but he does, and he's down at first, 1 for 1 on the afternoon. Extremely breezy day here at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. The flags have been starched out off the poles now from the time I got here a couple hours ago. And now it calms down just a little bit. At the plate, John Conti fouls off the first pitch from Hamrick, strike one. John Conti on the season hitting .355. 40th game, 31st start. 39 for 110 at the plate, 30 runs scored too. Just misses that outside corner, does Hamrick with that pitch, and the count evens up at 1-1. John Conti with 29 ribbies on the season. He has really added to that total. And that pitch is low, ball two, and the count now 2-1. Limited roster came with the Adirondack Trailblazers to this game in Jamestown. Their lineup card lists one other player. Conti turns on that one and rips it foul and deep down the right field line, well past the bullpen of the Trailblazers, and hits that perimeter fence out there. 2 balls, 2 strikes a count. Conti just so hot here at the end of the season. It's been amazing. 2-2 pitch, turns and fouls one right off the facade of the dugout of the Trailblazers. Bounces over to Hayden Carter. Hayden with a clean field. Count remains 2-2 on John. Chris Conley down at first. No score. We're in the bottom of the first inning. Break-even pitch. Popped up, playable. Coming in, the first baseman, Zach Schering, and he'll make the catch for the first out here in the Jammers half of the first.
Now up to bat, the first baseman, number 30, Ben Brookover.
Ben Brookover steps to the plate with Chris Conley down at first and one out. Ben Brookover coming into the game hitting .335, 47th game, 45th start, 64 for 191 at the plate. 38 runs scored. Tied for the team lead in home runs with 5 after he jacked one last night. He just having a great season. 35 ribbies on the campaign. And Ben's OPS coming into the game is .842. 0-1 count. Ben gives that one a ride foul down the right field line. Kept on slicing and eventually ended up down in the picnic area. I thought it was going to catch the structure of the light standard down the first base line, but it missed that and just kept on going. No balls and 2 strikes. Conley at first and 1 out. Hamrick's pitch. High in the air, deep to right center. Right fielder, though, goes over, and Joe Simone will make the catch of the deep fly ball off the bat of Ben Brookover for the second out here in the bottom of the first inning. Not going to be an easy day to put one out of this ballpark, which is pretty stingy with its home runs anyway. Unless that wind finally decides to abate at some point. From a fan standpoint, I welcome the wind. It's a nice cool breeze on a bright, sunny Sunday afternoon. First pitch from Hamrick to Jimmy Standahar. Misses outside, ball 1. Jimmy steps to the plate, third leading hitter on the team at .344. 43rd game, 37th start, 44 for 128 at the plate, and 35 runs scored. He also has 19 ribbies on the season. 1-0 the count to him. The pitch misses outside again, ball 2. Jimmy squared the bunt both times and watched both of those go well outside. Jimmy on the season with an OPS of .884, 462 on base, and 422 slugging. 2 balls, no strikes, and the pitch. In the dirt, and it gets away from the catcher, Justin Smith. That allows Chris Conley to move up to second base. Move Chris up on a wild pitch. And make the count 3-0 on Jimmy Standahar. 3 balls, no strikes. Conley at second now with 2 out. Runner in scoring position for Jimmy, and the 3-0 pitch. In the dirt, ball 4. That one skirts away from Smith, but not very far. and Chris Conley will stay put there at second base. 4-pitch walk to Jimmy Standahar, and it brings up Jammer shortstop Alex O'Donnell.
Number 1, Alex O'Donnell.
OD on the season, hitting .236. That average just keeps on climbing. 40th game, 39th start. 35 for 148 at the plate and 23 runs scored. First pitch over the outside corner, strike one. Alex O'Donnell with 29 RBIs on the season and a .658 OPS. 0-1 pitch. That one's in the dirt and a little bit outside. The count evens up at 1-1 on Alex O'Donnell. OD has been sitting on 29 ribbies for a while. Time to add one or maybe two. 1-1 the count and the pitch. O'Donnell watches that one outside low, and the count now 2-1. Two balls, one strike. Chris Conley with a leadoff bunt single is down at second. Jimmy Standahar just walked. He's at first. That one's high and outside. Ball 3. Count 3-1 on OD. In between the two gentlemen getting on base, it was John Conti popping out to the first baseman, and Ben Brookover with a deep fly ball to right that was caught by the right fielder. Outside and low. Nice block by Justin Smith. And that now loads the bases. And that'll bring up Ryan Markey in a big situation here for him and the Jammers with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the first and no score. Ryan Markey stepping to the plate, hitting .177. 24th game, 17th start. 11 for 62 at the plate. 17 runs scored. He has a double to his credit, 4 ribbies. He has walked 15 times. 2 out, bases loaded. First pitch from Joe Hamrick. Misses ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to Ryan Markey. And as it has been said, no place to put him. With the sacks jammed right now. 1-0 pitch on its way. Outside corner, just above the knees, and the count evens up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out. Can the Jammers get on the board right away? 1-1 pitch. Thrown all the way over the head of the catcher, Justin Smith. It allows Chris Conley to score, and Standahar and O'Donnell to move up. Jammers lead at 1-0. Couple of wild pitches so far for Joe Hamrick. The 2-1 pitch is inside to Ryan Markey, and the count now 3-1. Three balls, 1 strike. Runners at second and third, 2 out, 1-0 Jammers lead. 3-1 pitch to Ryan is fouled back over the press box, and the count's now full at 3-2. One of the beauties of bases loaded is when the pitcher makes a mistake, like Joe Hamrick did with that high pitch, that ends up bringing in a run. Full count, Ryan Markey. Payoff pitch on its way from Hamrick. Popped up and I think playable. First baseman Zach Schering. Nope. It's going to hit in the second row of the first base bleachers, and Ryan stays alive. Count still full, 3-2. Has a look at the bat to see exactly what part of it came off of. And now gets ready to step back in and face Joe Hamrick. Full count, 2 out. Hamrick's pitch grounded down the third base line and foul. Just foul. As it jumped over the third base bag. You were hoping that that was going to bring in a couple more, and would have been a great one for Ryan Markey if it had, but when it bounced up there, it did definitely turn foul. Count remains full at 3-2, and Ryan Markey will now see the 8th pitch in this at-bat from Joe Hamrick. Things remain the same. Standahar at third, O'Donnell at second, 2 out, a run in. Payoff pitch on its way. Hit high in the air to right field, giving Joe Simone plenty of time to get underneath, and you could see the wind grab that and force Simone about 6 steps to his left to make that catch and retire the side. For the Jammers, they get a run in, and they do that on 1 hit. No errors for the Trailblazers, and 2 runners left on base. At the end of 1, the score, Jammers 1, Trailblazers nothing on the Jammers Baseball Network.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. I help people solve difficult and trying personal problems every day on my TV show, but there's one problem that's just got me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. That's 1 in 5 kids who may not know where their next meal is coming from, despite the fact that there's more than enough healthy, nutritious food out there to feed them all. Now, I don't know about you, but that is unacceptable to me. Luckily, the Feeding America network of good people is out there collecting surplus food and giving hope to hungry children and their families at local food banks all across the country. But let's face it, they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Back at Russell Lee Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, the final Sunday Kids Afternoon at the old ball yard. I want to thank all the kids and parents that signed up for the Kids Club in 2017. Hope you enjoyed your Sunday afternoons at the ballpark with the Jammers. One more game in the regular season. That's tomorrow night, 7:05 start, and that will take place against the Onondaga Flames, our opening round opponent in the playoffs in the old one and done. So we'll get a preview to a degree. I can assure you both teams will be holding their best pitcher in arrears until Tuesday when the series starts here. You can't really call it a series. It's just almost like the old play-in games. At the plate for the Trailblazers, left fielder Chuck Hooker, line drive, center field base hit. Leadoff single for Chuck Hooker, and the Trailblazers have 1 on and nobody out. Didn't get to tell you very much about Chuck as he reacted to the first pitch from Connor Ryan. Chuck Hooker on the season hitting .262 in his 35th game and 29th start. We'll get to more of his stuff as the afternoon progresses. Rob Zarowski at the plate now. Zarowski serving as the DH. And Zarowski on the season hitting .235 in his 32nd game and 29th start. Connor Ryan's pitch is over the head of Matt Cross, allowing Chuck Hooker to get up to second base on the wild pitch. Joe Hamrick with a couple in the first inning, and now Connor Ryan with 1 here. Ball 1 to Zarowski. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 pitch is popped up and over the press box, and the count evens up at 1-1 on the right-handed hitting DH of the Adirondack Trailblazers. Zorowski has 10 ribbies on the season. He's hit 5 doubles. He's walked just 4 times and has an OPS of 626. 1-1 the count on him. Connor Ryan looks back at the runner at second, Hooker, and tries for that outside corner, but it's high, and the count now 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Runner at second, nobody out. Jammers lead the game 1-0. Adirondack threatening here in the second. Zorowski takes a while to get back into the batter's box and set. He is ready to go now. Connor Ryan spins the ball behind his back as he gets the sign from Matt Cross and takes too long for Zorowski's liking, and he steps out again. 2 balls, 1 strike. Runner at second, Hooker. Nobody out. Connor Ryan on the mound. 2-1 pitch. Fouled right into the Trailblazers dugout. And interesting reaction by one of his teammates sitting there. Joe Simone. Joe Simone sitting outside the dugout, and went right by him, and he got up off of the bucket that he's sitting on and started walking right towards Zorowski. 2-2 the count. The pitch. Fouled back over the press box again. Count still even at 2. You like to see stuff like that. Guys are, despite the length of the season for them, still having fun. Zorowski once again stepped out and is now back in. Connor Ryan getting the sign from Matt Cross. Comes set and delivers the 2-2 outside and low, and the count now 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. Runner at second, Chuck Hooker, the leadoff single here in the top of the second. Connor Ryan with a payoff pitch. Fouled back into the netting of the home plate grandstand, still 3-2. Bat Boy ferries 3 baseballs out to the home plate umpire. Gary Benton this afternoon. Josh Mayman is on the bases, and Gary Benton, seeing that young man for the first time, accepts the baseballs and shakes hands with him. 3-2 count. Connor Ryan ready now with the payoff pitch again to Rob Zorowski. Swing and a miss, strike 3, blew it by him. One out. Hooker still at second. Jake Van Bieber comes to the plate. Van Bieber in just his second game. He's also pitched, so it's just his second game as an offensive player and his third overall start. 0 for 1, so he has no stats to tell you about. First pitch to him a strike. 0-1's high, and the count evens up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. We have the St. Susan's night coming up tomorrow night, helping out the food bank. Come to the game with 1 either canned good or non-perishable food item. You get a ticket at half price. That one's called strike 2 emphatically by Gary Benton, and the count now 1-2. And if you bring 2 items with you to the ballpark, canned good or a non-perishable food item, 1 of each, 2 of each, however you want to do it. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Connor Ryan getting some confidence with that fastball. And the number 9 hitter in the Adirondack Trailblazers batting order is Zach Gehring. Zach stepping to the plate, second leading hitter on the team, coming into the game with a .265 average, 31st game, 24th start. 22 for 83 at the plate with 18 runs scored, 11 ribbies, and a .709 OPS. First pitch by Ryans right over the outside corner, strike one. No balls, one strike. Connor gave up the leadoff single. A line drive into center field off the bat of Chuck Hooker, then threw a wild pitch that allowed Hooker to get up to second. Since then, it's been lights out, Connor Ryan. 0-1 pitch. Outside corner again, strike two. Now, based on the success of the fastball so far in this inning, will he come back with that here? Ahead of Schering. No balls and two strikes. Two out. 0-2 count. Connor Ryan's 0-2 pitch. Popped up, playable. Ben Brookover in foul territory down the right field line. Reaches out and misses it. Got a pop-up in the game back in the first inning, so looks like. And he resumed his position out there in the outfield grass. OD back in the outfield grass as well here for this Sunday afternoon game. Swing and a foul tip that was dropped by Matt Cross, and then he completes the out throwing to first. Nice recovery by Connor Ryan after giving up the leadoff single to Hooker. For the Trailblazers, no runs, a hit. No Jammers errors, and a runner left. We have completed 1.5. The score, Jammers 1, Trailblazers nothing on the Jammers Baseball Network.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, I had one thing on my mind. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball every chance I could. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn the signs of a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. I'm Paul George. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke F-A-S-T. Fast. Life is why. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Back at Russell Lee Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York. Taking in everything that was going on there. You had the newspaper toss where two young gentlemen tried to get newspapers into the buckets, each progressively further away from them. And then one of the Adirondack Trailblazers had to pop out. Actually, one of the coaches popped out of the dugout to retrieve a bat that was Schering's there at the end of the inning that no one picked up. Had a few words for Hayden Carter on the way by. 1-0 the count here to Matt Cross. Hits one the opposite way, kind of a knuckleball, and then the throw by the second baseman, Tyler Bruno, pulls Schering off the bag at first, and Matt Cross will reach. That'll have to be an error to the second baseman.
Now up the bat, the left fielder number 7, Christian Deaton.
So Cross down at first and Christian Deaton at the plate. Christian Deaton's first at-bat this afternoon, and the first pitch to him by Joe Hamrick is a strike right down the middle. Deaton coming into the game hitting .159. 34th game, 23rd start. 69 at-bats, 11 hits, 16 runs scored, 31 walks. Kid has an eye at the plate, no doubt about that. Swings and fouls that one. Down the first base side of the home plate grandstand. And the count is now 0-2 on Christian Deaton. With that 31 walks, that gets his on-base percentage up to .438 and his OPS at .627. Next pitch by Hamrick misses, and the count now 1-2. Jammers brought one across in the bottom half of the first inning on a wild pitch. Lead at 1-0. Deaton gets around on that. Oh, look at that field by Hayden Carter. Whoa. Makes a clean one-handed field and then throws the ball back to Joe Hamrick. One ball, two strikes. The 1-2 to Deaton. That's lined into left field, base hit. Cross will stop at second. First and second, nobody out for Nick Bernick. Nick coming to the plate for the first time this afternoon.
Now up to bat, the third baseman, number 13, Nick Bernick.
Nick has done everything that's been asked of him, including being a travel guide and direction giver, taking series place when we were in Boonville. Nick had played for these Adirondack Trailblazers a year ago and knew his way around town, and we'd have been lost otherwise. First pitch to him. Little looper backing up the shortstop just in time to make the catch. Thought that was going to make it over the head of Jordan Torrento, but it did not. Nick Bernick with a little looper to the shortstop for the first out in the inning. Back around to the top of the order, and Chris Conley, who singled by bunting of all things back in the first inning. Just not what you expect from a guy that's hitting .397 to lay down a bunt, but he did, and he got on board. First pitch to him's over the inside corner, strike one. All about getting on base with this young man, and he does it with a definite degree of regularity. You don't get an OPS of 1.230 unless you're pretty regular at it. 0-1 the count and the pitch. High chopper. And it's over the head of the pitcher. Second baseman comes in, throws, and holding the bag at first was Schering. To retire, Chris Conley. Both runners move up, though. Cross now at third, and Deaton at second.
Now up to bat, the right fielder, number 6, John Conte.
Retire Chris Conley, 4-3. And bring up John Conte for a second time in the game. Popped out to the first baseman Schering back in the first. We're here in the second, 1-0 Jammers lead, and John, first ball swinging, pops it to left center field. Plenty of time for Riley Schaefer to slide over, get underneath, and make the catch. And that'll do it for the Jammers. Bit of a rally, but no results. No runs, a hit, an error for the Trailblazers, and 2 runners left. At the end of 2, the score, Jammers 1, Trailblazers nothing on the Jammers Baseball Network.
The odds of a young girl being discovered by an industry insider while singing to herself pumping gas. 1 in 300 million. The odds of a daughter of a clergyman from Severn, Maryland, spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts. 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 7 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of selling over 40 million records? 1 in 800,000. The odds of this musician and performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Russell A. Dietrich Jr. Park. Just had the water balloon toss down the third base line. The young man in the red shirt was, well, he had a good partner out there with the bucket to catch the water balloons as they flew out, but the young man had some accuracy. All underhand tosses, which you would expect. I mean, it's a water balloon. But I'll tell you what, all but about, I think, 2 missed. All the other ones were in. What a job. Back here for the top of the third inning, top of the order for the Trailblazers. Tyler Bruno, Jordan Torrento, and Joe Simone will face Connor Ryan here in the top of the third.
Tomorrow on July 31st.
And Tyler Bruno makes his way to the plate for a second trip. He doubled down the third base line back in the first inning. Ended up being stranded there as Connor Ryan buckled down and retired the Trailblazers without a run. Connor now out there for his third inning of work. Tyler Bruno, 5'10", $155 out of Poughkeepsie. Attending Iona, just wrapped up his junior year there. Connor Ryan with the first pitch to him. Hits him on the left shoulder. And Tyler Bruno takes his base down at first, and it brings up Jordan Torrento, the shortstop. Torrento, a strikeout victim back in the first inning, swinging on a 2-2 pitch for the first out. Runner down at first, Bruno. And nobody out. Top of the third, Jammers up 1-0. Pitch by Connor Ryan, off speed, delivering way out. In front of it was Jordan Torrento, strike one. Been a nice assortment of speeds being used here this afternoon, with Matt Cross behind the plate calling a good game. Connor Ryan throwing a good one so far. 0-1 the count, and Connor Ryan's 0-1 pitch. Right down the pipe, taken by Torrento, strike two. No balls and 2 strikes. Connor Ryan, working into the third inning, has now thrown just 33 pitches so far. Pretty efficient there. 0-2 the count. That pitch outside, and the throw down by Cross is way over the head of Alex O'Donnell, backing up Ryan Markey on the play, and saves the Jammers some headaches by keeping Bruno at second base with a stolen base. Could have moved over to third on the throw. Instead, he's at second with a 1-2 count on Jordan Torrento. 1-2 pitch. Outside corner, strike three called. Jordan Torrento, the first out of the Trailblazers half of the third, and it brings up right fielder Joe Simone. Simone singled back in the first inning, and he was forced out at second base. Markey to O'Donnell for the final out of the first inning. 1 out, runner at second, Bruno. Similar to inning 1, there goes Bruno. Bunted at by Joe Simone and fouled for strike one. Retreating back to second base, Tyler Bruno after the contact by Simone. No balls, 1 strike. Nick Bernick staying at a standard third base position. So is Ben Brookover. Not buying into the Simone bunt. No balls, 1 strike, Ryan's pitch. And indeed, Simone was ready to swing away, but he didn't get a pitch to swing at. High and outside, ball 1, counts even at 1. On deck, center fielder Riley Schaefer. Joe Simone, 5'11", $190 from Wayne, attending Ryder, just finished his freshman year there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Connor Ryan's pitch, high, outside, ball 2, count 2-1. I think Connor is beginning to settle in here. I know he had those jitters, understandably, after his start at Onondaga that went bad. Swing and a foul off the tip of the bat. Yes, indeed. Get the young man some chalk for that cue stick. Counts even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, runner at second. Tyler Bruno hit by a pitch to start the third inning here. Squaring to bunt, pulling back, Joe Simone. He will not be bunting with the count 2-2. And do they have him picked off? Almost. Good quick move to shortstop Alex O'Donnell from Connor Ryan. And Tyler Bruno gets back in at second base. Two count, 1 out. Connor Ryan set. Looks back at Bruno and steps off the rubber. Tyler Bruno, in Skylar Valentine fashion, does not go the whole way back to the bag to touch it. 2-2 again. In the dirt in front of the plate. Blocked nicely by Matt Cross, and the count goes full on Simone at 3-2. Connor Ryan rubs up the ball a bit after he gets it back from Matt Cross. After that ball bounced in the dirt a couple inches in front of the plate. Full count, payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Joe Simone strikes out, and it'll bring up the center fielder, Riley Schaefer. Schaefer popped out to Ryan Markey for the second out of the first inning. Pop-ups are an adventure here today as the wind started to die down, but it's picked up once again. Those flags in center field starched out off the pole. First pitch right down the pipe and taken by Schaefer, strike 1 call. No balls and 1 strike to the right-handed hitting center fielder Riley Schaefer. 5'10", $190, out of Thorndale, attending Texas Lutheran. Just finished up his junior year there. A 1 count. And the pitch over the outside corner. And it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. Schaefer with a quick question for the ump about the location of the pitch. Shook his head in understanding what the ump had to say. 0-2 pitch. Cross set up outside. That's where Ryan went, and chasing it was Schaefer and fouling it off just beyond the top row of the first base bleachers. Count remains 0-2 on Riley Schaefer. Jammers got back to Jamestown about 2:38 yesterday. Well, actually, this morning. Back out here, playing ball at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Off-speed pitch, no offer by Riley Schaefer, and no throw by Matt Cross as Tyler Bruno takes third base. Will move him up on defensive indifference. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Schaefer. 2 out. Jammers lead the game 1-0. Tying run at third. 1-2 pitch. Outside in the dirt. Matt Cross is able to backstop that one. Counts even at 2 on Riley Schaefer. Yes, you may be able to hear that wind is once again picked right back up. To the plate, swing and a miss, strike 3. Tyler Bruno tried to distract him, and he was unsuccessful as Connor Ryan strikes out the side. No runs, no hits, no Jammers errors, and a runner left at third. That was Tyler Bruno, who started the inning when he was hit by a pitch. The score at the end of 2.5, Jammers 1, Trailblazers nothing on the Jammers Baseball Network.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him opening his own clothing store at the age of 18? 1 in 138,000. Excited to be a part of pop culture, he packed for the big city. The odds of finding someone to invest in his vision? 1 in 4.5 million. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. I encourage you to learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Well, there's a fun game that we probably played at one point in our life. Try to get a marshmallow into somebody's mouth. A little bit of a twist on it here at the Jammers games as you put it on a bendable plastic straw. You pull the straw back and let her rip. And then your partner in the contest tries to catch it in his mouth. And it was successful after 2 misses. That one did not miss. Ben Brookover at the plate, and the pitch from Joe Hamrick caught the outside corner, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to the right-handed hitting first baseman of the Jammers, Ben Brookover. 0-1 pitch. Chop down the first baseline. That's going to stay fair. Picked up by the pitcher Hamrick, and he tags Ben Brookover on the way by. And seems to be a discussion. Ben didn't think he got him on the way by, but bases umpire Josh Maimans, no, he did not. Well, wait a minute. That's just Brookover staying at first. And Anthony Barone doesn't like the call. Might be a question as to interference with the runner's ability to proceed down the line, but Ben never went over into the runner's box, which is outlined in the dirt down the first base line. He was headed straight for the bag. Maiman and Benton put their heads together and say Ben Brookover's out. So 1 gone here in the Jammers half of the third. Jimmy Standahar will step up. And Ben Brookover now is having an argument with Maiman and Benton on his way back to the dugout. And then Anthony Barone comes down and chases Brookover into the dugout. One out, nobody aboard, and Standahar at the plate. First pitch hits in the dirt about 10 inches in front of the plate. Taken by Jimmy, ball 1. Jimmy at the plate for a second trip, although no official at-bat so far as he walked back in the first. Eventually part of the bases-loaded situation which yielded a run for the Jammers, and that's the run that they lead by. It's 1-0. We're in the bottom of the third. 1 run, 2 hits for the Jammers, no runs on 3 for the Trailblazers, and an error for Adirondack as well. Next pitch to Standahar, miss for ball 2. Hamrick hits him. Hits him right on the shoulder blade. Right above the 9 in the number 29 on Jimmy Standahar's back. Gets down to first. Hayden Carter comes out to talk to him. Jimmy walking it off, takes off his batting gloves. And O.D. will step to the plate. Well, Connor Ryan hit the leadoff batter for the Adirondack Trailblazers, Tyler Bruno, with a pitch back there in the third. I don't think that's any getting even. I think he just wanted to come with a solid inside pitch and missed. Jimmy's down at first. Alex O'Donnell's at the plate. The first throw over by Joe Hamrick causes Zach Schering to have to jump off the bag at first to get that one and pull it down. Time called. And one of the Adirondack pitching coaches is out of the dugout. Head coach of the Adirondack Trailblazers is Bob McLaughlin. And Bob sitting on a bucket outside the Trailblazers dugout. Now, officially on the scorecard, you had your 10-player lineup, including Hamrick, and just one other player was noted on that starting lineup card. And that was Bay McIntosh, listed on the roster as an outfielder. Hand your pitcher the ball and say, "It's all yours, kid." After that talk, first pitch to OD, misses inside. Snap throw down to first, and they picked off Jimmy Standahar. Standahar with a big lead down at first. Hesitated in getting back to the bag after the pitch to O'Donnell, and he's picked off. Nice throw by the catcher, Justin Smith, to Zach Schering. 2 gone now, nobody aboard for OD. And a 1-0 count. Cut and a miss, and actually a foul tip that ended up at the shoe, the cleat of the catcher, Justin Smith. For strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike on OD. One pitch. High chopper in the hole between first and second and into right field. And depending on how the rest of this inning goes, that makes the pickoff of Standahar a big one.
Now up the bat, the second baseman, number 20, Ryan Markey.
OD at first base. 2 out, and Ryan Markey at the plate. Ryan Markey, a fly ball out to the right fielder, Joe Simone, for the final out of the first. And the first pitch to him is over the outside corner. Strike 1. Markey disagreed with the call. You could tell by the way he shook his head from side to side. It was like he was stretching his neck, but he was basically saying no way. Toss over to first and OD back. Good move by Hamrick. And a no ball, 1 strike count on Ryan Markey. Ryan Markey, if you don't know, 6'3", $180 out of Royersford, PA, attending St. John's. Redshirt freshman year there. The throw over gets away from the first baseman, Zach Schering, and Alex O'Donnell will get the second base. OD at second and 2 out, and Markey at the plate with an 0-1 count. No balls, 1 strike. 2 out. The pitch. Hit high in the air toward left field. Chuck Hooker has to move just a couple of steps to his right and make the catch of the fly ball off the bat of Ryan Markey to retire the side. For the Jammers, no runs, a hit. There were no errors for the Trailblazers, and 1 runner left. We have completed 3 of the score. Jammers 1, Trailblazers nothing on the Jammers Baseball Network.
What is that?
Oh, it's my time machine.
Does it work?
Sure, just hit this button.
Whoa, dinosaurs, cool.
Or we can go here.
Hey, that's Napoleon.
Oui.
Or we can go to the future.
Wow, hey, you have this nice house. Do I have a nice house?
No, you didn't save any money. Always spent it on vacations and stuff.
If only there was a way I could go back in time and correct that bad habit.
Yep.
Okay, the time machine is not real, but the saving thing is. Get in the habit of putting some of your money in savings each week through a 401k, savings account, or financial investments. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy tips on saving, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
What does this crazy little button do?
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Russell Lee Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, home of the Jamestown Jammers. I'm Dave Shannon here on the Jammers Baseball Network, which includes our audio feed to you on TuneIn Radio. You can also hear us on Stream 2 at WWCB Radio, and you can catch the feed at YouTube with video and audio. And yeah, I know the video's not the best all the time, and that's what I got. Certain computers can't handle certain tasks very well. And mine has had a problem trying to put video and audio together all season. Here we are in the top of the fourth inning. Justin Smith will be at the plate. He is the starting catcher this afternoon for the Trailblazers, up for a second appearance. Grounded into a fielder's choice that brought the first inning to an end, as Markey went to O'Donnell on that play. And Justin Smith swings and misses at the first. Connor Ryan pitch, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count and the pitch. Misses outside, counts even at 1. One ball, one strike. The 1-1 to Justin Smith. Line towards center field. Standahar makes a couple of steps over to his right and makes the catch in left center on the fly ball off the bat of Justin Smith. One gone in the Trailblazers half of the fourth. And that'll bring up left fielder Chuck Hooker, who had a leadoff single in the second inning. Nobody aboard and one out here. First pitch to Hooker. To tell you, Chuck is 6'1", $190 from Warrington and attending Alderson Broadus. Just finished up his junior year there, and he's headed back to the dugout after grounding out to Ryan Markey. 2 up, 2 down. Trailblazers half of the fourth. Things going well for Connor Ryan in his second start in 2017. As a matter of fact, this would be a 180 of what happened at Onondaga. First pitch swung on and fouled back by DH Rob Zorowski. Zorowski, 6 foot, 200 from Detroit, attending Hillsdale. A very good school from what I hear. Just finished up his freshman year there. No balls and one strike to him. 0-1 pitch by Ryan. Grounded up the middle, ranging over. Alex O'Donnell scoops, throws, gets. Rob Zorowski. 3 up, 3 down for Connor Ryan. In the top of the fourth inning, no runs, no hits, no Jammers errors, and nobody left. The score now at the end of 3.5, Jammers 1, Trailblazers nothing here on the Jammers Baseball Network.
Penswood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Penswood.net Classifieds. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Penswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, or even a new pet? Penswood.net Classifieds has it. Penswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or...
1 ball, 1 strike. Jammers got a run across from Bakersfield, California. Decided to attend the school in his own season with Cal State Bakersfield. Next pitch to Deaton is inside, and it's a 2-ball, no-strike count to Christian. Christian at the plate for a second trip. Singled on a 1-2 pitch as he looped one out into left field back in the second inning. Matt Cross with his ability to walk, as he has picked up 31 on the season. Make it, nope, I thought that was going to be called a ball. I was going to say make it 32, but it's a strike, and the count 3-1. Don't try to call the game, just let the umps do it. 3 balls, 1 strike. This one is popped up, could be playable. Chasing it, catcher Justin Smith, and that ends up hitting the netting of the home plate grandstand, and so Justin Smith unable to make a catch, just enough to catch that netting, and to make the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. Three-two count. Nick Bernick on deck. Cross at first. Has to dive back in. As I've said, he's been taking a pretty good lead there at first base, and that time Hamrick decided to test him, but Cross got back safely. Full count on Deaton. Cross with a leadoff single at first. Joe Hamrick's payoff pitch, chopped down the first base line. Hayden Carter will field that as it dies in the grass. Never even made it to him. Count remains full, 3-2. Jamestown Jammers hosting Onondaga tomorrow and Tuesday. Tomorrow, the end of the regular season. Tuesday, a playoff game, and that time Cross was caught leaning a bit, but does scramble back to the bag at first safely. Hamrick with a good move and throw over to first. Did throw one over the head of first baseman Schering earlier, allowing O'Donnell to get the second. Line drive toward left field, and he was playing in. Chuck Hooker not giving Christian Deaton much respect, playing pretty well in there in left field, and he catches that shot off the bat of Christian Deaton for the first out here in the Jammers half of the 4th. 1 gone, and Nick Bernick steps up. Nick, 5'7", $165 out of Pittsburgh, PA, attending Niagara. First pitch to him over the outside corner, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to the right-handed hitting third baseman today, Chris Estrada, getting a break, along with Skylar Valentine. Looking forward to the return of Colin Stack. Snap throw down to first. Cross gets back safely. Smith already had one of those pickoffs on the snap throw down after a pitch to the plate. Not that time. Counts even at 1-1 on Nick. Third baseman Van Bieber sneaks in, touches the grass there at third base, and Nick Bernick takes ball 2. The count now 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike. Matt Cross, not quite as liberal lead. Now he steps it out a little bit. And a ground ball toward the hole between short and third. Throw to second in time to get Matt Cross, force him at second. Torrento de Bruno retiring Matt Cross and bringing up Chris Conley with 2 out.
Number 17, Chris Conley.
It's a great play by Torrento to get over in the hole to get to that ground ball by Nick Bernick, and an even better throw with his momentum, taking him toward the third base line to throw back to his second baseman Bruno and get Cross. Toss over to first base, sending Nick Bernick back to the bag. Chris Conley is at the plate for a third trip here. That pitch is in the dirt, and off of the paraphernalia of home plate catcher Justin Smith. Just squirts a little bit down the third base line, and it's a ball to Conley. Chris singled and scored when Hamrick threw a wild pitch back in the first inning. He then grounded out to Tyler Bruno, and apparently that pitch was high, and it's ball 2. We're here in the bottom of the 4th. Jammers lead the game 1-0. That one's right down the pipe, taken by Conley for a strike. Count now at 2-1. Matt Cross started the inning with a single. Christian Deaton hit one that looked like it might be single bound, but as it turned out, Chuck Hooker was playing shallow and left and caught it. That one's inside and low, ball 3, and the count now 3-1 to Chris Conley. That single for Chris was a bunt single to boot down the third base line back in the first inning. 3-1 pitch, high outside, ball 4. He just gets on base. Now John Conti.
Number 6, John Conti.
And hopefully John has calmed down. I know that he's got to be anxious to get up there because he's popped out 2 times, once to the first baseman and also once to the center fielder. Squares the bunt and sends it down the third base line, foul. No balls and a strike to John Conti. No balls, 1 strike, 2 on, 2 out. Jammers could use some runs. It's a 1-0 game. The Jammers with a 1. Here's another one lofted toward left center. This time the left fielder, Chuck Hooker, will move a few steps to his left and make the catch of the fly ball off the bat of John Conti to retire the side. For the Jammers in the bottom of the 4th inning, no runs, hits, no errors for Adirondack, and there were 2 runners left. The score at the end of 4, Jammers 1, Trailblazers 0 on the Jammers Baseball Network.
This is why you work so hard to pay the mortgage. Because home is more than 4 walls and a roof. It's that porch swing on a summer night. It's pajamas with feet and everybody over for Sunday dinner. And that old stuffed chair in the living room you just can't get rid of. This is why you work a second job. This is why you learn to fix things yourself, so you could save on repairs. Because home is your place, your memories, your family sleeping in their own beds at night. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. And now even more options are available. Call 888-995-HOPE today. That's 888-995-HOPE, or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov.
Good night, Mama.
This is why. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Back at Russell A. Dietrich Jr. Park, you got to be feeling good for Connor Ryan. Listen to this so far. 4 innings pitched, 16 batters faced, no runs, 3 hits, has walked no one, and has struck out 7. The only bad things in the stat line, 1 hit by pitch and a wild pitch as well. 53 pitches through 4 innings for Connor Ryan, 35 strikes and 18 balls. What a start by the young man who had worked exclusively out of the bullpen until the Jammers tried to give him a start. Well, did give him a start, didn't try to, in Onondaga, and it was not pretty for Connor. This should right the ship as far as some of the numbers in his overall season stat line. His ERA coming into the game was up over 7. That's going to bring that down as he works here into the 5th. Van Bieber fouled off the first pitch, strike 1. The 0-1 count on it, or 0-1 pitch on its way, that is. A swing and a miss by Van Bieber. And it's a no-ball, 2-strike count.
The has been claimed and donated back to your Jammers. Thank you very much.
No balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch by Connor Ryan. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Almost. He did foul that first pitch back. Zach Schering will step to the plate. Schering struck out swinging for the final out of the 2nd.
Now for that, the first baseman number 8, Zach Schering.
Schering, 6 foot, $160 from Grosse Pointe. Attending Adrian, finished up his sophomore season there this spring. And the first pitch to him from Connor Ryan's in the dirt, ball 1. One ball, no strikes. 1 out, nobody aboard. The 1-0 pitch from Connor Ryan. Outside in the dirt, ball 2. Count is 2-0 to Zach Schering. 2 ball, no strike pitch. Zipped up the middle, off the mound and into center field, scooped up by Jimmy Standahar, playing in center today. And thrown back in. Schering with a 1-out single to center, and Tyler Bruno will come to the plate for a 3rd trip. Tyler doubled back in the 1st inning, made it to 3rd. They couldn't get him in. Leadoff batter in the batting order. He was then hit by a pitch in the 3rd, made it to 3rd base again, and the Trailblazers did not get him in.
Second batter is number 29, Jimmy Standahar.
So Bruno steps in the first pitch to him. Sharp grounder down to 3rd. Burnick snabs it and then throws to Ryan Markey for 1. Over to Ben Brookover, the pitcher's best friend, ends the inning for Connor Ryan and the Jammers. 5-4-3 inning-ending double play. No runs, a hit, no Jammers errors, nobody left. We've completed 4.5 in the score. Jammers 1, Trailblazers nothing on the Jammers Baseball Network.
This is you over 30 years ago.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
And this is your mom when you drive her back from therapy.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. AARP gives you the information to help care for your mom so that you can have patience with her just like she did with you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885 to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one.
Are we there yet?
Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP, we help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back at the Russell A. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, I'm guilty of trying to create a word. Nick Burnick either snagged that ball or grabbed it, one or the other. He did not snab it. I don't think I have a good case to even try to make that into a word. Right at ground level, it was snatched by Nick Burnick. He threw to Ryan Markey and then on to Ben Brookover. Ben Brookover, speaking of which, at the plate. First pitch is inside to him, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Ben was worked up over a play there in the 3rd inning. Grounded one down the first base line and looked like he was tagged out by the pitcher on the way down the line. He was standing on first base, didn't agree with the call, and then had some words for the umpires on the way back to the dugout, and Anthony Barone had to kind of grab him, shake him a little bit, and get him back into the dugout. Ben fouled off the next pitch to make the count even at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the pitch. Outside low, and the count 2-1. Not to sell Joe Hamrick's performance short through 4. He's now facing his 21st batter. Inside high, right up around the left shoulder of Ben Brookover. Count now 3-1. Hamrick has given up 1 run on 4 hits. He has walked 3, hit a batter, threw a couple wild pitches, 70 pitches, 40 strikes, 30 balls. Ben Brookover up the middle. Sliding down, backhanding it. Tyler Bruno getting up and throwing to Zach Schering to retire Brookover for the first out here in the bottom half of the 5th. And it brings up Jimmy Standahar. Jimmy getting a start in center field tonight. First time, I think, for him out there, as I recall. Take a quick look at the old stat sheet here. Jimmy has had his share of starts in the outfield, but most of the time he's either been in right or left. First pitch to him missed, ball 1. 1-0 pitch outside the dirt, ball 2. 2-0 the count to Jimmy Standahar at the plate for a 3rd trip. So far in the day, he's been on base twice. Walked back in the 1st, hit by a pitch in the 3rd. 2-0 count. Hamrick catches outside corner that time, and the count now 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Bases empty, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Jammers lead 1-0. That one was a PGCBL outside corner to make the count even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Right-hander Joe Hamrick with the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Strikes out Standahar for the 2nd out of the inning. And it brings up shortstop Alex O'Donnell. OD 1 for 1 today. Walked back in the 1st inning. Hit a chopping single in the hole between 1st and 2nd and into right field in the 3rd. Made his way up to 2nd base when pitcher Joe Hamrick threw one over the head of first baseman Zach Schering. And the first pitch to him just missed, ball 1. That one low to OD, and the count 1-0. 1-0 pitch. That one's outside low, and the count is 2-0 on OD. Jammers scored 6 last night against Geneva. That pitch is high, a little bit inside too, and the count now 3-0 on Alex O'Donnell. Three balls, no strikes. 2 out, nobody aboard, and the pitch from Hamrick. Over the outside corner, strike called. Count now 3-1 on OD. Alex O'Donnell, 6'1", $177 out of Lockport, New York, attending Mercyhurst now. Transferred there. That one's outside, ball 4. And the young man who will be entering his senior year this coming fall at Mercyhurst draws the walk. It'll bring up Ryan Markey, and catcher Justin Smith goes out to have a talk with pitcher Joe Hamrick.
Number 20, Ryan Markey.
Joe Hamrick actually said words to Justin Smith and did not put his glove up over his mouth. 2 out, runner at first, O'Donnell. Waiting for the Jammers to break out a little bit this afternoon, but Joe Hamrick has kept them at bay after giving up a run when he threw a wild pitch. O'Donnell's going to be caught off base there. Thought Hamrick was coming to the plate and was about halfway. Almost was able to avoid the tag there as he's eventually run down and tagged out at second base, and that'll do it for the Jammers. They end up going in order. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Trailblazers, and nobody left. We've completed 5 to score. Jammers 1, Trailblazers nothing on the Jammers Baseball Network.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor. Because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
Welcome back to Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, headed to the top of the 6th inning. And it's a 1-0 lead by the Jammers over the Trailblazers. These two teams have played 2 times previously, and the Jammers have won both of the previous outings. Dave Lascala picked up a win, and so did Chris Valamont against the Adirondack Trailblazers. Lascala went 7 in his outing, and Valamont went 6, striking out 9 in 7 innings. Lascala struck out 11. ERA for the Jammers against the Adirondack Trailblazers sits at 3. Due up for the Trailblazers here in the top of the 6th inning, the number 2 hitter Jordan Torrento, the shortstop. Then it'll be right fielder Joe Simone, and then Riley Schaefer. Jordan Torrento steps to the plate. And Torrento this afternoon playing shortstop, 5'11", $160 out of Warren, attending Adrian, where he is a sophomore. Well, wrapped up his sophomore season. Be heading into his junior campaign this fall. Matt Cross having to reattach the shin guards, part of the tools of ignorance as he gets back behind the plate. And ready to go, Torrento steps in. Connor Ryan on the hill for his 6th inning of work. And the first pitch inside to Torrento, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Through 5, Ryan has thrown 60 pitches, 40 strikes, and 20 balls. And the next pitch to Torrento is fouled right at the plate there. Count is even at 1. Once again, tomorrow night, bring some food to the ballpark and get in for free. Each fan that brings 2 items, there are 2 categories, canned goods and non-perishables, with macaroni and stuff. Bring those in, bring 2 of them, get in for free. Bring 1, get in at half price. Next pitch to Torrento is in the strike zone, and the count now 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Connor Ryan's 1-2. Fouled down the third base line off the end of the bat of Torrento, and the count remains 1-2. After we had that off day there on Wednesday, the Jammers in quite a stretch of games here. Depending on how long the playoffs go. No off days during the West Division playoffs. 1-2 pitches high and outside, and the count's even at 2 on Jordan Torrento.
I did message last night whether that was today or tomorrow. I tried taking some camps.
Opening round game Tuesday here at Russell Lee Dietrich Jr. Park against Onondaga. 2-2 pitch. Grounded, third baseman. Nick Bernick takes the belt high hop and throws it to Ben Brookover, getting Jordan Torrento for the first out here in the top of the sixth.
Now at the back, the right fielder, number 23, Joe Simone.
One up, one down. Joe Simone, the right fielder, will step to the plate. He is 1 for 2 this afternoon. Singled back in the first inning and then was erased as the final out of the inning. Markey 2, O'Donnell on a force. Hits one in the air. It sounded like it broke his bat as well. And shallow right center is where John Conti catches up with it and makes the play, retiring Simone for the second out here in the top of the sixth. 2 up, 2 down. Riley Schaefer will step to the plate with 2 out and nobody aboard in a 1-0 game. Schaefer on the afternoon 0 for 2, popped out to Ryan Markey, second out of the first inning, and then struck out swinging in the third for the final out there. Pops this one up down the first base line and over into the Adirondack bullpen area. Strike 1 to Riley Schaefer. No balls, 1 strike, 2 out, nobody aboard. Connor Ryan comes armed with his own rosin bag, grabs a hold of that and gets his hand all ready to throw that one for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out, nobody aboard to Schaefer. Fouls this one back to the home plate grandstand, and now Ryan's ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Schaefer, 5'10", $190 from Thorndale, and is attending Texas Lutheran, heading into his senior year this fall. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Connor Ryan gets a sign from Matt Cross. Comes with a 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Connor Ryan has brought out the fastball to record now his 8th strikeout of the game. No runs for the Trailblazers. No hits, no jammers errors, nobody left. At the end of 5.5, the score, Trailblazers are trailing the Jammers. Jammers 1, Adirondack nothing on the Jammers Baseball Network.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape? You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel? Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Well, well. It is Chuck Hooker coming in out of left field to pitch, and Bame McIntosh will end up taking Rob Zarowski's position as the DH in the lineup and play left field. So this is the way the Trailblazers will end this game, with 9 personnel all accounted for on the field. Ryan Markey steps up. He was at the plate when OD got picked off to end the 5th. Ryan on the afternoon 0 for 2. Fly ball out to right fielder Joe Simone, and also flew out to Chuck Hooker when he was playing left back in the third, and a bunt attempt by Markey, and they ask if he bunted through that pitch. Ryan actually ran out in front of the plate, and bases umpire Josh Maiman on the appeal says no, he did not go. Ball 1. Next pitch misses outside, and the count is now 2-0 to Ryan Markey. Jake Van Bieber down at third, getting a workout, charging in. And Markey looked to be ready to swing away there on a 2-0 pitch, and he took it high for ball 4. Jammer scored 1 in the bottom of the first on a wild pitch thrown by starter Joe Hamrick. Now Chuck Hooker is in, and he gets a strike over to Ryan Markey, and the count goes to 3-1. 3-1 pitch misses, ball 4. Ryan Markey leadoff walk. We get a strong gust of wind up here in the press box, but out in the outfield, the flags are just in a, well, the picturesque kind of way, waving out there in center field. Chuck Hooker, by the way, is making his first appearance on the mound. He has not been on the mound in any previous games, and the first pitch to Matt Cross is high, ball 1. 1-0 the count. One ball, no strike pitch, high, ball 2. 2-0. Once again, make plans to join us tomorrow night for St. Susan's Night as we help their food bank replenish. Popped up by Cross, playable in the infield. Shortstop Torrento comes in, makes the call on the catch, and that retires Matt Cross for the first out here in the bottom of the 6th. Ryan Markey still down at first with 1 out now.
Left fielder number 7, Deaton.
Brings up Christian Deaton. Christian singled back in the 2nd inning. And the new left fielder, Bay McIntosh, stays at a standard left field position. Last time up, that is, Hooker was playing shallow in left with Deaton at the plate and was able to catch a line drive off the bat of Christian that, depending on how deep he would have been playing, may have fallen for a base hit. That pitch is in the dirt, hits off the knee pad part of the shin protectors of catcher Justin Smith all the way over to the Trailblazers dugout, allowing Ryan Markey to get up to second base. One ball, 1 strike to count on Deaton. Chuck Hooker's 1-1 pitch, high, ball 2, count 2-1. Last position player to throw for the Jammers, Alex O'Donnell, at a much different time of the year. 2-1 pitch, just missed inside, ball 3, count 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Markey at second, and 1 out. Chuck Hooker's 3-1 pitch, high, ball 4. First and second, 1 out for Nick Burnick. Second baseman Tyler Bruno comes in to have some words of encouragement for Chuck Hooker.
Now up the back, the third baseman number 13, Nick Burnick.
Now some encouraging words from the pitching coach as well. Justin Smith touches gloves with Chuck Hooker and trying to encourage him. There is 1 out. Jammers with 2 on via the walk. Ryan Markey walked. moved up to second on a pass ball, and then Christian Deaton walked. He's down at first. Bernick at the plate. Bunts down the third baseline, foul, strike one. No balls and a strike to the Jammers' right-handed hitting third baseman Nick Bernick. Always a good time to go with this because then the infield has to go in motion and report to the proper location in order to try to get someone, because you have your third baseman, Van Bieber in this case, trying to cover an attempted bunt. Bernick doesn't show any inclination to do it that time, and he took strike two. Nick checks with home plate umpire Gary Benton as to what the location of that pitch was. Gary told him. Counts 0-2. Armed with that information, Bernick ready to face Hooker's 0-2 pitch. High outside, ball one. One ball, two strikes. Anthony Barone with some signs for runners on base. Markey at second, Deaton at first, and the guy at the plate, Nick Bernick. One out with those two guys on. 2-2 pitch. Line drive, left field, it gets down. That's going to roll for a while. Markey will score. Deaton's on his way to third. He'll be held there. Coming up with the ball in left field is Bay McIntosh. The Jammers have made it a 2-0 game. RBI double for Nick Bernick.
Back up the bat for your Jammers, the DH number 17, Chris Conley.
Justin Smith goes out and talks to Chuck Hooker after he delivered that pitch. Nick got around on it right down the left field line. Talked about a lot. That's a guaranteed double in this league simply because every team in the league pinches their outfielders in from the foul lines. The corner outfielders pinch well in, and the center fielder does what he does as far as defensive alignment for any at-batter. In this case, Chris Conley at the plate takes ball one. In this case, the left fielder McIntosh is so far off the left field line, Chris Conley could get a triple. 1-0 pitch, high, ball two. Count 2-0. Center fielder Riley Schaefer is shaded to right center, and the right fielder Simone is shaded in that direction as well. If Christ would pull one down the right field line, there'd be a couple runs come in. Next pitch missed. It's ball three and the count 3-0. Conway's a man of principle, though. He just gets on base, and he might get a walk here. He's been on base twice before, once with a bunt single and once with a walk. Also grounded out this afternoon. That next pitch is called strike one, and the count now 3-1 to the left-handed hitting DH, Chris Conley. Chuck Hooker's 3-1 pitch inside. Ooh, Conley ready to throw his bat to the dugout. Gets rung up for strike two. Three balls, two strikes. Deaton at third, Bernick at second. One out, the pitch. Inside, almost hits Conley. It's ball four. Now the sacks are jammed for John Conti.
Now up the bat, the right fielder number 6, John Conti.
John sprayed it around this afternoon. Unfortunately, all in the air, and all two players. Popped out to the first baseman Jering for the first out of the first. Hit a fly ball out to the center fielder Schaefer for the final out of the second, and a fly ball out to Chuck Hooker back in the fourth for the final out of that inning. Up here in the bottom of the 6th with a big opportunity, bases loaded, 1 out, and the first pitch to him's ball 1. Chuck Hooker with a 1-0 pitch. Right down the pipe, taken by Conti, and the count evens up at 1-1. Now, apparently the Trailblazers don't have the best of scouting reports because Conti can hit that hole between first and second regularly. And I think he was trying to get it out there, and foul tips it back off the mask of the catcher Justin Smith. Rolls back behind the home plate circle. Ben Brookover on deck retrieves it. And I'm sure that'll go back out to Gary Benton, depending on what kind of a nick is on it from the foul tip off the mask of Smith. Counts 1-2 on John Conti. Schering in on the grass at first, and it's grounded by right at the second baseman. Bruno goes to Torrento for 1, and Conti's just so fast you're not going to get 2. You cannot double it. Well, you can, but not on that kind of a play. Christian Deaton comes in to score the 3rd Jammers run. Nick Bernick moves up to 3rd. You have Conti at 1st, and Chris Conley erased on the force out. John Conti on base on the fielder's choice, as it turns out. 2 out. First pitch hits in the dirt in front of the plate, and Conti basically could have walked to second base had he wanted to, but he was certainly above a trot getting down there to second. One ball, no strikes, the count to Ben Brookover. High in the air, deep to right center field. The right fielder's over, though, and Joe Simone makes the catch for the final out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Jammers do bring 2 across. They do that on 1 hit.
2 runs on 1
No
hit.
errors for the Trailblazers, and 2 left. At the end of 6, Jammers 3, Trailblazers nothing on the Jammers Baseball Network.
Penswood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Penswood.net Classifieds. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Penswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, or even a new pet? Penswood.net Classifieds has it. Penswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or trade locally.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and
pour me out. This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Back at Russell Lee Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, and now Connor Ryan has a little bit of breathing room as the Jammers bring home 2 in the bottom of the 6th and lead the game by a score of 3-0. What an outing for the young man. Diametric to what happened to him at Onondaga. He's through 6 now, 22 batters faced, no runs, 4 hits. He has walked no one, struck out 9, hit a batter, threw a wild pitch. 71 pitches through 6, 48 strikes, 23 balls. Good job, Connor. Going to keep it going here in the 7th, we hope. And Justin Smith will be the first batter to face him as Connor gets his rosin bag and Takes a couple of pats of that and goes up on the mound and throws one high and outside, ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. Top of the 7th inning. That one just missed that outside corner, and the count now is 2-0. As the wind finally takes a little bit of a respite here on this Sunday afternoon. Still a breeze, but it's down to a breeze now. It was more of what you would call windy up to this point in the ball game. That pitch to Smith is in there, and the count is now 2-1. Justin Smith, left-handed hitter. 2-1 pitch, high, ball 3, count 3-1.
Do you want me to say that over the mic pack so that way kids don't get hyped up about it?
3 balls, 1 strike. Connor Ryan loses him. Ball 4. Justin Smith, the leadoff walk, and Anthony Barone makes his way out to the mound. And as I look down toward the Jammers bullpen, I don't see anybody in particular loosening at the moment, but I do see someone on their way down, perhaps with information as to who should get up. That's Colin Johnston headed down there. I don't know. Colin may end up picking up his glove and throwing. Nope. We have a lefty up in the bullpen right now. Barone's mound visit is over, and the first pitch is down in the dirt to Chuck Hooker. Ball 1. Chuck now the pitcher as the Trailblazers sacrifice the DH position, and Bay McIntosh went into left field to play out there. Hooker came in from left to pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. That pitch is down low, and the count is 2-0 on Hooker. Jammers would like to make it 2 in a row, and Connor can't end up walking a bunch of these Trailblazers here and giving them a chance to get right back in it. Jammers up 3-0. 2-0 pitch. Hammered to left field. Deaton going back. It's over his head. Hits on the warning track. Bounces off the wall. And they're going to hold the runner at third. It's a double for Chuck Hooker. The way he swung in that hit, the sound off the bat, you knew that one was going to go a ways. And it did. Smith now at third base. And Bay McIntosh will step to the plate. This will be his first trip to the plate this afternoon. McIntosh, 6'1", 195-pounder from Orlando, attending Florida Tech. Anthony Barone's second mound visit. And that's going to do it for Connor Ryan as he gets a well-deserved salute from the crowd. No runs on 5 hits. I'll give you the stats unofficially as I have them. Connor Ryan, the Williamsville, New York native, attending Mercyhurst. He's a junior there, and he just threw a gem here this afternoon, holding the Trailblazers scoreless through 6, faced 24 batters, no runs, 5 hits, walked 1 this inning, struck out 9. 1 hit batter, a wild pitch, 79 pitches, 50 strikes, 29 balls. You'd be proud of that. You can own that for sure, Connor. And in out of the bullpen, it's Nate Grant.
Now pitching for your Jammers from St. Bonaventure University, number 15, Nate Grant. Once again, Jammers fans, this is a reminder that our concession stand will stop serving alcohol for the 7th stretch of today's game.
So Nate Grant comes into the game after that fine outing by Connor Ryan and tried to nail this one down. Nate on the season 1-3 with a 7.11 ERA. Connor Ryan just knocked his down from that same mark dramatically. Nate Grant in his 8th game, he started 4, 25 1/3 pitched, 23 runs, 20 of them earned, 33 hits. He's walked 14, struck out 15. Opponents averaging .311 with Nate Grant on the hill. He inherits runners at 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. And a rather funny thing occurred yesterday as the Jamestown Jammers were on their way to Geneva to take on the Red Wings. And the Jammers had a little bit of a recognition semi-celebration party after the game on Friday, despite the fact that we lost that ball game to Utica. The fact of the matter is that Geneva lost the night before, and that secured home field through the playoffs on the west side for the Jammers. So players had food and, had some fun. And we're on our way to the Geneva game, and our bus ends up with no air conditioning the whole way from Jamestown. Line drive left field, that's going to score 1. Christian Deaton comes in, that's all it's going to score. Christian there quickly, and McLaughlin holds the runner at 3rd. Chuck Hooker, it's now 3-1. RBI single, Bay McIntosh in his first at-bat.
Now up the back at 3rd baseman number 4, Jake Van Bieber.
Jake Van Bieber steps to the plate. Trailblazers just down by 2 now. Nobody out. Runners at the corners. Nate Grant on the hill. First pitch to Van Bieber's high outside, ball 1. Anyway, we had no air conditioning from here to a town called Dansville, just off of Interstate 390. And we got out of the bus and made a stop there and were able to grab a bite to eat. And one of the few times at this time of the year that you'll step off of a tour bus and go to wherever it is you're going to get food and say, oh, it's nice and cool out here, which is what happened. That pitch missed for a ball. Throw down. They got him. Bay McIntosh trying to steal second. Matt Cross to Ryan Markey, and there's one out. Taking a runner off the base paths. Hooker, though, is still at 3rd. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count. Be big for Nate if he could get Van Bieber here. Van Bieber steps out. I can tell you the end of the story maybe, as the Jammers infield is in all the way around. And the 1-2 pitch is outside, counts at 2-2. We go to a nearby fast food establishment, and Nate's talking to me about the fact that we had that little bit of a celebration. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Nate says, it figures. We did something nice, had a little fun last night, and now we're getting paid back. Our air conditioner doesn't work. Credit to the bus driver, Jim. He figured it out. We had AC the rest of the trip to Geneva and back home last night as well. Zach Schering steps in. First pitch to him is outside low, ball 1. Hooker at 3rd with 2 out now. That pitch over the outside corner taken by Schering, and the count is even at 1-1. Nate Grant bringing some heat. Nate Grant, 5'10", $195 from Corning. He's attending St. Bonaventure. Just wrapped up his junior campaign there. The 1-1 pitch just missed outside. The count now 2-1. Jering, the number 9 hitter in the order, will turn it around to the top of the order, and Tyler Bruno, if he can keep things going, pops that one up and out of play. And it hits in the light standard over where the first base bleachers are, and eventually comes down behind the home plate grandstand netting. You came to a game at Russell E. Dietrich Park and got a foul ball sitting behind the netting. There's a story to tell. Counts 2-2 on Jering. 2-2 pitch. Grounded down the third base line. Backhanded by Nick Bernick. Throws over, one hop, dug out by Brookover, and that'll do it for Adirondack in the top of the 7th. Preserving this good start and hopefully a win for Connor Ryan. No runs, couple of hits, no Jammers errors, and one runner left on base. We have completed 6.5, Jammers 3, Trailblazers 1 on the Jammers Baseball Network.
My name is Ruth Rusi. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live United. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusi. I help kids prepare to succeed in the shirt. I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Russell A. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York. Ground crew giving the complimentary drag of the infield there, as they do for some reason in the 7th. A lot of places do that at the end of the top of the 5th at the halfway point of the game, but we do it here as the 7th inning stretch takes place. Jamestown Jammers, bottom of the 7th. Jimmy Standahar, Alex O'Donnell, Ryan Markey. By the way, ever see that game on The Price is Right? It's called Plinko. And that little disc, you know, comes down through and bounces side to side and whatever and ends up wherever a prize is. It's the way that baseball was that was hit up into the light standard. Bunt by Jimmy Standahar off the mound. Hooker throws and pulls his first baseman off the bag and misses him. It bounces off the perimeter fencing. Standahar's going to go for third. The throw will not be in time. Get the young man some oxygen. That's some running by Jimmy Standahar.
Now up to bat, the shortstop number 1, Alex O'Donnell.
Second error of the game for the Trailblazers on the throw from Chuck Hooker. Standahar with the bunt single is now at third. That pitch is in the dirt, gets away from the catcher. Jimmy waited too long to get down there. Ball 1 to Alex O'Donnell. Jimmy didn't realize that the ball had gotten that far away, and I don't think Anthony Barone did either. Blocked by the home plate umpire. He's in his position. I'm just telling you that view from down there at third, the home plate umpire was right in line with where both Coach Barone and Jimmy Standahar would be looking and wouldn't have seen that ball getting that far away from Justin Smith. Next pitch to O'Donnell was a strike, and that one misses high, and the count's now 2-1. Chuck Hooker started the game in left field and has now become a pitcher. And it's a 2-1 count to Alex O'Donnell. Pops it in the air, right center field. Center fielder is over, dives, and will not make the catch. Jimmy Standahar will just simply trot home. Doesn't have to worry about tagging up or anything. That's an RBI, and that's a single for Alex O'Donnell.
And now coming up the bat, the second baseman, number 20, Ryan Markey.
Good things can happen when you get a runner over at third base. Happened back in the first. Chris Conley was there. Scored the first run of the ball game on a wild pitch. In this case, Standahar got there and was able to score on a little bloop single into right center by Alex O'Donnell. Ryan Markey at the plate takes the first Chuck Hooker pitch, strike one. No balls, one strike. Next pitch hammered foul down the third base line. Markey got around on that one. And the count is no balls and 2 strikes on Ryan. Markey on the afternoon is 0 for 2. A couple of pop outs to the right fielder Simone and also to the left fielder at the time, Chuck Hooker. And then he walked and scored in the 6th. That pitch misses outside, the count 1-2.
I just hope you know it's just friendly fun and not bashing you.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Jammers 4, Adirondack 1. We're in the bottom half of the 7th. Jammers trying to win back-to-backs here after the 6-3 win over Geneva last night. Toss over to first, OD's back. One-two pitch, high, ball 2. Counts even at 2. Joe Hamrick started the game. Chuck Hooker came in to relieve him, and that's going to be that. Limited number of players making the trip here to Jamestown. Toss over to first, back safely is O'Donnell. Two-two count as the wind gets a little more brisk again. 2-2 pitch. Sharp shot to the third baseman. Van Bieber looked over at second. O'Donnell was there in a flash, so he has to go to first to get Markey. OD at second. And it almost, well, it does, not almost. I was going to say almost works as good as a bunt. It did work as good as a bunt. And unfortunately, it just gets recorded as a ground out to third. Matt Cross steps up. Matt reached on an error charge to the second baseman Bruno back in the second, singled up the middle in the 4th, and then popped out to the shortstop Torrento in the 6th. Up here in the 7th, 1 run in, Jammers lead 4-1. A run on 6 hits and a couple of errors for Adirondack. 4-7-0 for the Jammers. OD's going to try for third. Justin Smith throws down the tag. He's out. Second out of the inning is Alex O'Donnell, caught stealing. Catcher Smith to third baseman Van Bieber. 2 gone, nobody aboard. Hooker's pitch to Matt Cross is popped up. Shallow right coming in. The right fielder Simone calls off second baseman Bruno and makes the catch to retire the Jammers here in the bottom half of the 7th. Jimmy Standahar's bunt and wild throw by pitcher Chuck Hooker puts him at third. O'Donnell hits a tweener shot out there in the outfield and drives home Standahar for the 4th run of this afternoon's game for the Jamestown Jammers. 4 runs, 2 hits, an error for the Trailblazers, and nobody left on base. We have completed 7, Jammers 4, Trailblazers 1 on the Jammers Baseball Network.
They win the game. All right, Jake, when you're ready.
Hey everybody, Rachel Ray here. Nothing puts a bigger smile on my face than cooking up a big meal for family and friends. But there's not enough room at my table for the 17 million kids in America who are struggling with hunger. These children, that's 1 out of every 5, often have to skip meals because there's just nothing to eat in the kitchen. Yet there's more than enough healthy, nutritious food produced right here in America to feed every last hungry child. If only there was a way to get it to them. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families all across our country. But they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America at your local food bank and at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Back at Russell Lee Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York, home of the Jamestown Jammers. I'm Dave Shannon on the Jammers Baseball Network. Happy you could join us on this beautiful Sunday afternoon for baseball. A bit windy, but hey, when it's this warm out, there's nothing wrong with that. Nate Grant's out there to start things off on the hill here in the top of the 8th inning. Isaac Meza's down in the Jammers bullpen loosening. And we're at the top of the order for the Trailblazers, and Tyler Bruno, who doubled back in the first, was hit by a pitch in the third and grounded into an inning-ending double play in the 5th. Up here in the 8th, and the first pitch by Grant misses outside low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Bruno takes that one over the inside corner. Count evens at 1-1, and something happened to Nate Grant when he threw the pitch. He is down on the ground and holding his ankle. Matt Cross came out, and he is in a substantial amount of pain. Jammers trainer is out there, and Nate slams his fist into the ground. Jammers infielders, minus Ben Brookover, who's in shallow right field, over around Nate Grant, Nick Burnick, Ryan Markey, Alex O'Donnell, Matt Cross gathered around. Coming in from the outfield, Jimmy Standahar. Nate gets up and will not be able to continue, as his left ankle rolled up on the pitch to the plate. The count's 1-1 on Bruno. And Isaac Meza will have to, he was already up and loosening. I assume that Anthony will go to him. Yep, here comes Isaac. Bruno, the leadoff batter. Nate Grant able to get the count to 1-1 and unable to continue. We'll give you an update on him tomorrow night before the game. So Connor Ryan, of course, starting the game, having an outstanding start. And Isaac Meza will come in after Nate Grant came in to relieve Connor Ryan. And now Isaac Meza ripping some heat in there out of the bullpen. Isaac Meza, 6'3", 235 from Valencia, California, attending Cal State Bakersfield. Just finished up his freshman year. Freshman year? He's going to grow yet? You got to be kidding me. 6'3", 235 now.
To all kids that are in the
Let's take a look at Isaac Mesa's numbers. He's 1-0, making his 17th appearance. A 1.80 ERA and a record of 1-0, 25 innings pitched. Isaac has given up only 8 runs in 25 innings, only 5 of those earned. He has given up 18 hits. He has walked only 5. He has struck out 20. The bad points on his pitching line, he has given up a home run, and he's given up 6 doubles. He's faced 97 batters, and despite those nicks as far as offensive stats go against him, opponents are averaging just 198 with Isaac Mesa on the hill. He's also only thrown 1 wild pitch in his previous 16 outings. So at outing number 17, he'll be tied with Nolan Hunt in third, behind Colin Johnston, who's been in 18, and Connor Ryan, who's now been in 19. Isaac will try to nail things down here. 1-1 pitch is in there, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wish the best for Nate Grant, as he was able to get off the field under his own power. 1-2 pitch. Lofted toward right field. Conti follows that over toward the right field foul line and makes the catch. Tyler Bruno's the first out here in the top of the 8th inning. That'll bring up Jordan Torrento, the shortstop. Jordan this afternoon's 0 for 3. Struck out swinging in the first, called out on strikes in the third, and grounded out to Nick Bernick in the 6th. First pitch right down the pipe from Mesa, strike 1. Loved Isaac's story about his high school ball. This is lofted toward left field. The pop-up is handled by Christian Deaton, and that's out number 2.
Now to bat, the right fielder number 23, Joe Simone.
2 up, 2 down, and that'll bring up Joe Simone. Simone on the afternoon is 1 for 3. Singled down the third base line back in the first, hits a line drive to center. Standahar, though, is over and makes the catch of the line drive off the bat of Joe Simone. It ends up being a 1-2-3-8 for the Jammers pitchers. Nate Grant went out to start, rolled up his ankle on a pitch, left with a 1-1 count on Tyler Bruno. Isaac Mesa finished it off. For Adirondack, no runs, no hits, no Jammers errors, and nobody left. At the end of 7 1/2, Jammers 4, Trailblazers 1 on the Jammers Baseball Network.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Russell Lee Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York. Someone came into the broadcast booth and asked me to do math. I didn't know there was math involved. Nobody told me. Christian Deaton at the plate here in the bottom of the 8th for the Jammers. Bunts one foul down the third base line. Strike one. Here's the way the run scoring has gone this afternoon. Single tally for the Jammers in the first, 2 in the 6th, and 1 in the 7th. And yes, even with Common Core math, that adds up to 4. Next pitch to Deaton is high, and the count's even at 1. On the other hand, 1 run across for the Trailblazers in the 7th. 6 hits, a couple of errors, swing and a miss by Christian there, and the count now 1-2. Joe Hamrick started for the Trailblazers, and then Chuck Hooker came in from left field. That pitch is inside. Christian Deaton backed up a little bit on that delivery from Chuck Hooker, and the count's even at 2. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. Deaton was backing up from that pitch, and I don't think it fooled him that much, but he's called out on strikes for the first out here in the bottom of the 8th, and it brings up Nick Burnick. Nick on the afternoon, line drive out at the shortstop Torrento for the first out of the 2nd.
Now up the bat, the third baseman number
Grounded
13.
into a fielder's choice. That one was in the hole between short and third, and a great play by Torrento there. That was back in the 4th inning. And then he doubled down the left field line in the 6th. Ended up at third base, and we stranded him there. We did get 2 across, though, in the inning. First pitch to him was ball 1. The second one missed, outside low. Ball 2, count 2-0. Pitch over the outside corner taken by Nick. The count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Burnick fouls that one down the right field line, twisting, and bounces off the perimeter fence after it hits the warning track down there. Nick appeared in both games before against Adirondack. And he came in against the Trailblazers, hitting a .167. Hits that one in the air. This one much higher down that right field line, and hits one of the picnic benches down there, just beyond the bullpen of the Trailblazers, which is empty on this afternoon. Two-two pitch. Ooh, Nick got around on that one and ripped it foul down the third baseline into the Jammers bullpen, and the count is now 2-2. Jammers leaders around the league, Ben Brookover and Chris Conley with 5 homers, are tied for 5th in the PGCBL. Here's a high chopper. Shortstop Torrento charges in, makes the play, getting Nick Burnick for the second out of the inning. 2 up, 2 down. Brings up Chris Conley.
The DH number 17, Chris Conley.
Been at the plate 4 times, been on base 3. Single and a couple of walks. That's what he does. He gets on base. 2 out, nobody aboard right now. Pitch from Chuck Hooker, outside low, ball 1. Let's take a quick look here. Chris Conley, leader in the league with bases on balls numbering 48. The next closest from Geneva, Jake Evans with 37. Oh, he's now got 50. He had 48 coming into the game. Second pitch missed. That one is in there over the inside corner, and the count 2-1. At bats, the Jammers lead with the top three, 191 for Ben Brookover, 179 for Chris Estrada, and 170 for Skylar Valentine. RBIs, Chris Estrada with 37, ranked third in the league, and Ben Brookover with 35, ranked fifth. 3-1 pitch, checks his swing, and takes ball four. 3 walks on the afternoon for Chris Conley. He just gets on base. And apparently counts were incorrect there. It was a 2-1 pitch for ball 3. So it's now 3-1 on Chris Conley. Well, let's see if he can get his third walk of the afternoon this time. Sure, Chuck Hooker will be trying to avoid that. Payoff pitch. Popped up into right field. Over near the foul line is the right fielder Simone. Makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down go the Jammers in their half of the 8th inning. No runs, hits, or errors, and nobody left. We head to the Trailblazers half of the 9th. The Jammers are up by 3. Jamestown 4, Adirondack 1 on the Jammers Baseball Network.
Penswood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Penswood.net Classifieds. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Penswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, or even a new pet? Penswood.net Classifieds has it. Penswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or trade locally.
Chances are there'll never be an emergency ever again. But just in case, let's talk about a plan.
Okay.
Who is going to grab the go bag?
What's a go bag? It is a bag we do not have that is filled with things we really, really need in an emergency.
Guess we won't have to worry about it then.
Well, this is great. I am so glad that we don't have a plan.
I know.
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Onward to the top of the 9th inning, and you may have caught the pregame show. If you didn't, where were you? You'd have valuable tidbits of information gleaned in our interview with Hayden Carter. The tidbit of information you would have been able to glean in this case is that today's game was to be Bradley Griggs' start, but they're trying to adjust the pitching staff for a long run into the postseason, as Hayden Carter had mentioned. And it was decided that Connor Ryan deserved to start. Did he ever? What an outing by Connor in today's game. And Brad Griggs comes in to face the middle third of the Trailblazers order, Schaefer, Smith, and Hooker. First relief appearance for Brad Griggs in 2017. Brad Griggs, 9th appearance. He's made 8 starts so far. He's pitched 49 1/3, leading the Jamestown Jammers in innings pitched, a 4-2 record with a 2.55 ERA. In the first pitch, catches outside corner. Schaefer takes strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 count. Brad Griggs, 0-1 pitch. This is a little bit high and outside, and the count even at 1. Other Jammers in the league leaders category. This one's fouled off by Riley Schaefer, and the count now 1-2. Runs scored. Chris Conley of the Jammers second in runs scored with 42. Oh, he's now at 43. Brett Rodriguez of Elmira leading with 43. Ground ball sharply to short. O'Donnell backhands, get up, and throws out Riley Schaefer for the first out here in the top of the ninth inning. One up, one down. Nobody aboard, one out for catcher Justin Smith. Justin on the afternoon 0 for 2. He did reach a couple of times. Fielder's choice back in the first. And actually creating the final out of the inning. Fly ball out to Jimmy Standahar in the fourth, and he walked and scored the only Trailblazers run back in the seventh. First pitch by Griggs, missed, ball one. 1-0 pitch is low, ball two. 2 balls, no strikes. Ben Brookover, by the way, third in the league with runs scored at 38. Skylar Valentine right behind him with 37. Hits on the season. League leader, Ben Brookover, 64. Skylar Valentine in third with 56. Swing and a miss on a 2-1 pitch by Smith, and the count at 2-2. Total bases, Ben Brookover leads the league with 90. Skylar Valentine with 77. 2-2 pitch. Grounded down the third base line, foul. Count remains even at 2. Nick Bernick went over after that, got by him, and fortunately went over the bag foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes still to count on Justin Smith, left-handed hitting catcher. Doubles, league leader, Skylar Valentine with 16. Chris Conley with 13, ranked 5th. Actually tied for 4th. That pitch hit Justin Smith. A discussion as to whether that actually hit him. Home plate umpire Gary Benton is saying that it hit him. Anthony Barone, now out of the dugout, disagrees. Runner at first, 1 out. One out, 1 on. Jammers up 4-1. Top of the 9th inning. John Conti with 17 stolen bases is tied for 4th in the league. Triples, John Conti is tied for 4th with 3. Gage Lanning of Onondaga with 7, leading the league. 2 balls, no strikes to count on Chuck Hooker, who fouls off that pitch, and it's now 2-1. Told you about Conley's leading in bases on balls with 48. Skylar Valentine also up there in that list, ranked 4 in the league with 35. Just missed the outside corner, did Brad Griggs there, and the count now 3-1 on the pitcher, Chuck Hooker. Extra base hits on the season. Russ Olive leads the league. That one's high, ball 4. 2 on, 1 out. Smith goes up to second.
Now at the bat, number
Hayden
7,
Carter
Dave
out of the
McIntosh.
Jammers dugout indicates that to the bullpen as he walks out to the mound that I think to continue loosening out there. It's Colin Johnston who's up and working in the pen. Brad Griggs got Riley Schaefer to ground out to Alex O'Donnell for the first out. And then disputed hit by a pitch, Justin Smith, and then Chuck Hooker walked on a 3-1. Bay McIntosh will step up. He is a switch hitter now from the left side of the plate, facing... Oh, I'm sorry, he's not a switch hitter. My mistake. Swing and a miss, strike 1. McIntosh, 6'1", $195, as we said, out of Orlando. Next one's right down the pipe from Griggs, strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. 2 on, 1 out. Brad Griggs trying to finish this one off. The 0-2 pitch. Grounded foul down the third base line. Past Bob McLaughlin, the head coach of the Adirondack Trailblazers. Count is still 0-2. On base percentage, Jammers have 2 leaders there. Chris Conley leads the league. Foul tip that time on a swing by McIntosh, and the count's still 0-2. Conley at 592, Conti at 493, then Standahar in third at 462. Conley leads the league in slugging percentage at 638. Coming into today's game, that pitch misses, and the count now 1-2. Hit by pitch. There's a bunch of guys that have been hit 12 times, amongst which is Chris Conley. Swing and a miss, strike 3. McIntosh, second out, top of the 9th.
Now for that, the third baseman number 4, Jake Van Bieber.
And it brings up third baseman Jake Van Bieber down to their final out in this afternoon's game is the Trailblazer team. And the first pitch to Van Bieber's outside high, ball 1. Van Bieber has struck out every time he's been at the plate today. On a 1-2 pitch swinging, on an 0-2 pitch swinging, on a 2-2 pitch swinging, and Brad Griggs can't find the strike zone. He's behind him, 2 balls, no strikes. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 on, 2 out, the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Make plans to join us tomorrow night, Jammers and the Onondaga Flames, 7:05. Bring some food items with you and get in for either a reduced price or get in for free. Canned goods or non-perishables, you know, like pastas in a box, macaronis and stuff, those count. And, of course, canned food. Cut and a miss on some heat from Brad Griggs. Count now full, 3-2. And the Trailblazers down to their last strike. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Brad Griggs comes back, gets a couple of strikeouts in the inning after a talk from Hayden Carter. And that'll do it for the Trailblazers. No runs, no hits, no Jammers errors, a couple of guys left on base. The Jamestown Jammers put this batch into the mason jar to save for a later date and win this one by a final of 4-1. I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon on the Jammers Baseball Network, which includes you folks watching on YouTube this afternoon, and of course all the folks listening on TuneIn, picking up the stream from the Jammers website, and WWCB Radio Stream 2. For Anthony Barone, Hayden Carter, Scotty James, the rest of the Jamestown Jammers, and the staff here at Russell Lee Dietrich Jr. Park. By the way, did want to make note, if you're watching on YouTube, you see these two teams meeting for the final time in 2017. Everyone shaking hands. The Trailblazers that came are out there shaking hands with all the Jammers as they come off the field victorious by a final of 4-1. Until tomorrow night at 7:05 when the Jammers host the Onondaga Flames, this is Dave Shannon. I wanted to include the staff, too, as we say good night, everybody. Catch you again tomorrow night at 7:05.